2023 WNBA All-Star break, the New York Liberty are one of the top offenses in the league. The Las Vegas Aces are the only team that scores more points per game, but the Liberty lead the league in assists. A big reason for this is because of Breanna Stewart, who is the ultimate screen machine. Take a look at this example against the Phoenix Mercury, where Stewart brings the ball up court before getting the ball in the hands of her point guard, Courtney Vandersloot. After passing to Vandersloot, Stewart goes to set a screen. There's nothing spectacular about this. However, if we notice, the way that Stewart sets the screen is to get her feet set so that Vandersloot can attack, and Stewart continues to watch the defender all the way up until the screen is actually set. Stewart slides to the right before contact is made and then gets set so that she's not called for an illegal screen. This causes the defender to get caught on the high side and a lot of contact is made. The separation between Vandersloot and her defender is significant. This puts Stewart's defender in the tough position of deciding whether to stop the ball or to stay with Stewart. She chooses to stop the ball, and as a result, Stewie gets an easy layup. Talking about a screen, you're often looking at a pick and roll, which is the case here, as the Liberty take on the Connecticut Sun. Breanna Stewart sets the screen on Vandersloot's defender. It's such a solid screen that the defender is taken completely out of the play, but Vandersloot actually turns down the screen and goes back to the middle. DeWanna Bonner is caught in no man's land, trying to take away both Stewart and Vandersloot, which is impossible. So Stewie gets a clear path to the rim. However, this is the Connecticut Sun, so of course there's good rotation on the backside as Alyssa Thomas steps in. AT is one of the elite defenders in the WNBA, and she's coming across to defend the paint. However, Breanna Stewart throws her off with an unorthodox attack. She goes off of what we would call the wrong foot. She jumps off of her right foot, leading with her left knee, which forces Alyssa Thomas to stop her momentum because she mistimed everything. Breanna Stewart then rises up and lays it in off the glass easily with her right hand to get 2 easy points. And then there's popability. Breanna Stewart is an outstanding pick and pop player. As we look at this example against the Seattle Storm, you can see that Vandersloot is bringing the ball up, and Stewart initially has the screen set going to the middle of the court, but chooses not to set it. She and Vandersloot know they want the screen going away from the help side defense. The reason is evident when both Whitcomb and Magbegor step up to double team Vandersloot. Stewart pops out to the top. Why does she pop instead of rolling? Well, if we look at the paint, there are 2 Seattle defenders who have both feet firmly in the paint ready to protect the rim, while the top of the key is wide open. Stewie pops out and has her feet set as the ball hits her hands. She's able to rise up and release before Mercedes Russell can contest the shot enough to alter it. Here's another example of the pick and pop ability of Breanna Stewart. This time it's taking place against the Connecticut Sun. Vandersloot's not involved in this play. Instead, we have Sabrina Ionescu, which changes the way the defense approaches it. Stewart sets a solid screen, and instead of going underneath, the defender chases over the top to take away the 3-point shot. Alyssa Thomas steps in as well to make sure that Ionescu, who's shooting a high percentage from 3, is unable to release her shot. Because of this, Rebecca Allen is forced to jump out onto Stewart. This means there are 3 defenders guarding 2 offensive players for the Liberty. The mismatch of numbers on the weak side doesn't actually get exploited because both offensive players who are at the top of the key cut to the rim simultaneously. This takes away the ability for Stewart to get a 3-on-2 on the weak side, but she's still looking that way. She sends the ball over to Maureen Johannes, who catches and assesses what's there. Alyssa Thomas, of course, is sprinted clear across so that the mismatch is completely removed. But Breanna Stewart recognizes that she has a 6'2" guard on her instead of the normal defender, Alyssa Thomas, who is making life hard for her this game. JoJo Buckets has the ball, and Stewie slips the screen, making no contact and sticking with the mismatch. Johannes recognizes it and throws it to Stewie, who is able to play an ISO game. The original pick and pop action created mismatches, which Stewie is able to take advantage of by driving to the paint, elevating and shooting over the 6' 2" defender for a mid-range bucket. The reason running a pick and pop into a mismatch works so well is because Stewart has amazing shot creation. In another example of her shot creation, we take a look at a pick and roll against the Connecticut Sun. Again, this pick and roll takes place with Courtney Vandersloot handling the ball. As we saw before, Sloot and Stewie set the screen so that it's going toward the baseline, away from any possible help. She hands off to Sloot and then pivots to catch the defender. What this means is that there's no help side defense other than Stewart's defender, Alyssa Thomas. This takes Thomas off of Breanna Stewart because she must stop Vandersloot's drive toward the rim. Sloot drops a pocket pass to Stewie, who recognizes how much space she has as she catches at the elbow. However, it is Nelson Adota who is closing the gap. This is a 6'5" defender who can really get off the floor, so Stewie recognizes the rim protection is there, and she catches, sets her feet, and rises up for a controlled jump shot in the middle of the paint over an impressive defender. Stewie's feathery touch comes through and she drops in the easy 2-point bucket. Here's another example of Stewart's incredible shot creation against the Seattle Storm. In this particular case, she runs a pick and roll with Vandersloot, where Vandersloot is headed toward the middle of the court. Magbagor is guarding Stewart, and Kia Nurse is on Sloot. In this particular instance, the defenders decide to switch. Stewart and Sloot both recognize this, so Stewie heads to the mid-post with Kia Nurse on her back. The incredible shot creation comes off 2 back-down dribbles, followed by a fake to the baseline and a jumper, which doesn't sound that impressive until you see Stewart's feet. Her feet are facing the sideline when she leaves the ground, but she fades, squares to the basket, and uses a feathery touch to knock down the incredible shot. Another thing that's really effective about Stewart's screen game is the way that she sometimes chooses not to screen. In this particular instance against the Phoenix Mercury, it looks as though Stewart's going to set a screen for Johannes, but instead she slips the screen just as Vandersloot sets a flare screen for Stewart. This results in a switch and Stewie gets the smaller defender on her. With the 5'8" Sutton trying to guard her, Stewart heads straight for the rim. However, the help defense steps over to the block in time to prevent Stewart from getting a layup, so she does a one-legged pull-up from the block, which she puts off the glass with incredible ease. And while Stewart's able to create unreal shots for herself, she's also creating a lot of shots for teammates this season. She's averaging over 4 assists for the first time in her career, and it's because of plays like this one, where she's able to use her height along with her passing. In this particular look against the Chicago Sky, Stewart comes off the Jonquel Jones screen and immediately realizes that there is no help in the middle. As Betnijah Laney drags her defender up, Jonquel Jones rolls to the hoop. The switch takes place with Stewart's defender, and she rises up to throw the high-low pass to Jones. She makes a very accurate pass that allows Jones to catch, set, power up, and finish at the rim. Solid passes aren't the only way that Stewart's able to get her teammates open looks. In this example, she sets a screen for Ionescu, and the defender goes underneath because of how high the screen was set. Stewart then goes to set a down screen for Vandersloot, but Vandersloot rejects the screen and makes a cut to the basket. Once again, Alyssa Thomas is guarding Breanna Stewart as they take on the Sun, and she's one of the best decision makers on defense. She sees this play take place, and instead of sticking with Vandersloot and taking away the layup, decides to close back out to Stewart. The respect for Stewart's ability to shoot the three results in an easy layup for Vandersloot. And of course, Breanna Stewart does have what every kid wants, the ability to shoot from deep. In this example against the Connecticut Sun, once again, Breanna Stewart ends up with the ball in her hands. She first sets the screen for Vandersloot, and when she gets the ball back at the top of the key, she takes a look and sees she has DeWanna Bonner on her, an incredibly long and gifted defender. But when Stewie is the one handling the ball, Betnijah Laney catches DeWanna Bonner on a pick. Breanna Stewart immediately recognizes that DeWanna Bonner can't close out fast enough and rises up for a three with perfect form, knocking down the jump shot. This angle also gives us a chance to check out her shooting form. Though she brings the ball from her left side because of the direction she was headed, she immediately gets it back to her shot pocket, right over her elbow and in line with her shoulder. As she releases the ball, you can see that she really does a good job of flicking her wrist right on line. Now while the ball is halfway there, she does give us a little bit of Breanna swagger and drop her hands down to let everybody know she's made it. But nonetheless, the form was flawless when she released it. As another example of Stewart's range, let's take a look at this play against the Seattle Storm. She recognizes immediately that Horston is trying to go under the screen, which is a pretty significant mistake against Breanna Stewart. So she sets her feet and rises up. As she rises up, we notice just how much leg power she uses to elevate. This means that she has perfect form from three-point range. You can once again see the perfect shot pocket as she gets the nice angle at her elbow, and her release is again perfect. Note the guide hand, which has no effect on the ball. It's all her right hand that flicks the wrist and puts it straight on line. She finishes with her body exactly where it started, but her legs, because they were the driving force, have gone forward a little bit, and once again, she gives us that Breanna swagger with the hands down after the shot is released. Breanna Stewart's a generational talent. No matter what offense she's in, she's going to make it look good. But she's having a career year this year, and you have to think that a big part of it is the way that she's able to set screens and run that offense with the New York Liberty. She's always had talent around her, but nonetheless, this year she's averaging a career high in both points and assists. Not to mention rebounds, which probably isn't a part of the offense, but is noteworthy. Her incredible skill is on display every night. We should all enjoy the fact that we get to see someone this talented play in our lifetime.